Hey everyone, this is Carla, and welcome to an all new episode of Adventures in Workforce Development. So, this is episode 7, part 7, and I'm going to discuss how to handle different recruiter interviews. For my situation, I am a native Clevelander and I'm working through Cuyahoga County, which is the county that Cleveland is in, a labor agency to get more certification and land more opportunities. I already have project management professional certified Scrum and IDLE, but when I was transitioning from DC to Cleveland, I was doing cybersecurity, help desk, and IT project management. So I wanted to obtain more training in that. Furthermore, I'm a lifelong techie. I have watched the original Star Trek with William Shatner, so that is just natural fit because I love trend analysis, and so I look at pattern analysis to see if there are outliers or patterns, and that's the direction I wanted to go. So, with this adventures in workforce development, I'm talking about how to navigate the 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 situation and the process because it's different, and I want it to be as easy as possible for someone who's going through the same thing, like dealing with any type of government, whether it's city, state, or federal training programs, because that's currently what I'm doing. So this episode is about how to handle different recruiter interviews. My current situation, I have a training specialist, an employment specialist. I also qualify at the high skills group, so I have someone who does more specialization, and you have to be able to balance that. But there's a common thread, and I'm going to focus on what they deliver or what they do, like their main duties. So with my training specialist, his main duties is training, the basics, recruitment, how you present. Those are what he did. And so when I interview with him or I speak to him or I ask for training or job leads, I come in with the reference of this is the main duty that the person does. So when I speak to my employment specialist, I would ask them, is this resume great for sending out the type of job lead I want? Is what's the number of jobs in this field in the particular county or the state of Ohio? Also, is the training available, and if it is it in person or online? If the training is available, is it within a certain commuting mile or area, usually within 50 miles or 25 miles? That's how I would handle that training specialist. Just focus on what they deliver, what their major duties are. Conversely, on the other side, since I'm dealing with a more specialized executive recruiter, what I do is how do I present? So he's taking it from a different perspective. He's not, okay, you apply for a job and, many to one, like many applicants to one, it's one to many. So he's trying to fit me and my skill set into an actual position, like actually create a position. So it's more like retained search. But once again, by focusing on the major duties that he has, my focus then becomes, okay, how would I be a good cultural fit given my background? Is anything in my current background good? Do I have any, education or certifications that's similar to the person in the network? Have I worked in this field before, or do I know the company? And if I do, what's my impression of them? So for the executive recruiter, in a way, is acting like retained search. And retained search is where a company, it doesn't necessarily have to be a private company, Fortune 500 company, but a company goes to an executive recruiter. They retain them to search for a specific position and they want certain things. Well, the executive recruiter in this respect is doing the same thing. It's, okay, where can we fit her that she would be a good fit with her skill set, and we'll shop her around. So in this respect, I have to be more, marketable and say, okay, well, these are the things that I'm good at. This is where I work with. And like I mentioned before, focus on the major deliverables or the major duties of that position. Well, ultimately, what I would also say is always be your own advocate. And I'm going to show how my own advocate in both situations. So, since I was just most recently talked about the executive recruiter, what I will say about serving as an advocate for your recruiter is and not just feel that you have to wait until the person comes with the lead. So I've been getting other leads. I notified them about that. I I also relayed some information between the trained specialists, even though they talk to each other. I think it's very important that they don't get like everything and just get my perspective on what happened, relay any updates that he may have, or something that I got from the training provider that wasn't disclosed to the training specialist. So just getting, my level of perfect information into that, but always finding, you know, new people that I reached out to or reached out to me in, LinkedIn, my email, what have you. Always be an advocate. Always have some type of working knowledge or background of what the process is, because once you know what the process is, you can ask the questions to get the answers that you need. Also, it makes you capable and it's empowering when you at least have some type of functional working knowledge of the process, because then you know what it should look like, and more importantly, what it shouldn't look like. You don't have to be an expert at everything, but you should have some type of knowledge about how it works. So with my situation with executive recruiter, just the ability that I was researching, companies, actively applying at other companies and getting those leads, that made me an advocate. And people are more likely to help you when you're helping yourself and you're going out of the way to try to get as much information and present as much information and be an asset and be a help to them. Now, on the training side, serving as an advocate for me is knowing the different types of certifications, knowing, tapping my network and seeing what I can bring. So a situation, an example of that for the training specialist is last week in episode 2, where I said I had the training meeting and out of nowhere comes all these different certifications. Well, the training specialist, he wanted to talk about he recommended 2 types of cloud-based certifications. So because I had a connection on LinkedIn that was a cloud-based recruiter, and I looked at her recent activity and saw that people were looking for a different vendor of cloud certification. I was equipped with that knowledge to present the argument on why we should go this direction, which ended up being the direction. But just a tidbit outside of this, it's one thing to say no, but when you give a justification and you could back it with research, it's more respected, because you don't want to seem like you're disgruntled or you're insolent or you just don't want to do it. In my situation, I said that the market is saying that the certification that I'm selecting is the one that the recruiters want. So there's a business need and there's a market demand for the certification over the one that was recommended. And it also aligns with what I already put in my package. So for the training specialist, where I went out of my way is research and learned as much as I could about the different types of certifications, especially the different types of training that I wanted, as well as write individual plan of employment. Just make sure that all the paperwork was there, the justifications were there, instead of just emails of, yes, this is what I want. Just make sure every packet was available. So those are the reasons and the different ways of how to handle different recruiter interviews, whether or not it's just a generalist, which in my situation is the training specialist, or a specialist in my situation, executive recruiter. That's how you would handle adventures, not adventures in workforce, but how you handle different types of recruiter interviews. So I hope that this adventures in workforce development is helpful to you. My name is Carla R. Jenkins, certified project management professional, certified Scrum and IDLE with 13 years problem solving experience in project management, big data, and IT service management. Currently looking for both private and public sector opportunities, as well as full-time direct hire, remote Cleveland and DC based opportunities. You can get in touch with me at linkedin.com/IN/Carl R. Jenkins, as well as carlarjenkins.com/contacts. I would like to thank everyone for taking out the time to watch this episode, part 7 of Adventures in Workforce Development, how to handle different recruiter interviews, and I'll see everybody in the next episode. Bye.